Welcome. This video is going to be about how remote neural monitoring is used to frame people with an approximation of voice morph and their inner thoughts, their inner dialogue. Subharmonic speech. This is mainly used to gaslight people. It is a last ditch effort in your torture program for it to get you incarcerated and or murdered or both. You will notice that they are running a series of narratives or scripts over and 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 over again for the duration of your targeting. When you are new, these are they seem like there's more credibility to the statements they are making in terms of how you would respond to it. It is more of a threat to you because you're going through this experience. You have no basis on what's going on. You're experiencing something that's completely out of the ordinary, something that's far beyond most people's, far beyond anybody's experience. You've never even, if you're being targeted, you probably never even heard that this exists. And then you're literally listening to people project audio inside your head, and they try to get you to believe, the narrative, whatever narrative they're pitching at you, as in order to condition you, psychically drive you into making decisions or whatever their aim is for you, what they want you to accomplish and or do. So these scripts are tailored to you over the course of your torture program. As they do these scripts, they're conditioning responses from you, and they're trying to get you to respond specifically to whatever phrase they state, whatever narrative or lie they are trying to pose at you, in hopes that you respond in a way that would incriminate or incriminate you lastly. But before that, they want you to respond in a way that will make you panicked or make you fearful. They're trying to intimidate you and make you afraid in order to manipulate you. And they're because obviously, if it's a conversation that is happening 24 hours a day that you cannot walk away from, and it's happening to you over the course of years, and one of the tactics is they try to use any negative emotion in order to manipulate you into psychic driving. So shame, guilt, fear, anything like that, they're going to try to, even if the claims they are making are unsubstantiated or not true, they're going to condition you to have a phobia of a fear of it, and they're going to see in real time which ones are effective or you'll respond to in order to try to force compliance, or at the very least keep you quiet so you're afraid of speaking out on what's going on. Now, the method of attack already is designed to look like a mental disorder. So even if you do speak out, people are probably not going to believe you. So everything about this has been systematically designed and mastered to the point that you are essentially helpless. There's really no defense. There's nothing you can do to actually navigate this. There are small things you can do to try to mitigate the damage and to increase your probability of living longer. But the way this program is designed, there's no resolve. Nobody really gets out of this program. Once you're a target, you're pretty much a target. I've heard cases where people are targeted for a very brief amount of time, and it ends, and they move on with their life, and they never deal with it again. But for most people who are targeted, it's the rest of your life. And those cases are very, very, very seldom, very rare. So you're going to have the same scripts read to you hundreds of thousands of times. Literally, the longer you're alive, the longer you will be subject to the script. Now, with remote neural monitoring, everything that you think is going to be picked up and read as if it was your voice, even without you having to speak it, and it can be relayed to you in your voice, so you would perceive it as if you were talking when you weren't actually talking. Anything that you or understand anything that you hear, sounds like you are saying it, because if you comprehend it in your mind's eye, you subharmonically speak it. So they literally just have to repeat a phrase and they have a copy of you saying something you never said. In addition to that, they can just voice morph you. They have enough audio of you from just watching you. They could have done it before that. They could have done it with OSIT and just been just literally just surveilling you and picking up this information, everything they can. Every time you've ever put a video on Facebook, MySpace, YouTube, anything in your life, anytime you were in a friend's video, they have enough to replicate your voice. So with these three methods, they're trying to intimidate you and put you in fear that you will be set up and framed. So one narrative that's often posed is that they're framing you for worst case possible, whatever it is. Some people, they're framing you to make you look like a spy. If you have a military background, that's very common. For some women who are prostitutes, your family's gonna find out that you were a prostitute at some point in your life. It really depends on the individual, whatever it is that they harbor an intense emotional response to, anything that they could use to get them off edge. So they are going to try to scare the targeted individual into doing something with these narratives. Bottom line is, when they finally cannot, they give up. They've done it indefinitely forever. It's been long enough. It's literally, you've been targeted for years at this point. They will start to gaslight you into believing that said people are using this information. They will use some form of maybe parallel construction. If you have a chance, Google that, look into that so you can see what I mean by that. I don't have enough time to break down that concept. But they will use maybe random phone calls from people who are participating in your torture program, gang stalkers. They could use emails. They can use pretty much anything to put in enough reports saying, "Hey, we have a recording of blah 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 blah," and they'll try to frame you that way. Now, the thing with that is that usually they need actual evidence. So if someone's going to frame you for murder, they need more than people saying you committed a fucking murder. If someone's going to frame you for being a drug dealer, they usually have to try to plant, like in a case that I'm aware of, they stole somebody's medication and mail, and they tried to plant drugs in a satchel with said person's information. They stole these items out of this person's trash, and they planted it somewhere in hopes that somebody would call the cops and the person would get framed. That's one scenario I'm aware of. So they have to set it up. If they're trying to frame you for something, they have to put work in, but you have to be aware of the fact that they are literally doing this to you. Your torture program will be set out over the span of years if they cannot initially break you. If they cannot break you into doing something extreme, i.e. the Navy shipyard shooter or Myron May, they will set out a contingency plan in order to get you somehow, some way. That's it. That's all I can say. My videos are limited on time, and I'm restricted to a certain amount of time I can actually make a video in order to upload it. I'm sorry, I was stammering all over the place with this. Hopefully this helps somebody. Trust God, clean house, help others.